is the one talking, of course. And we got a great game for you guys tonight. It is going to be Team eHug, the 9-0 dominators of this tournament, facing off against the 8-2 Death by Snoo Snoo. So both really hard-hitting teams and both well-deserving of a win right now. And we're going to have the first bans coming out. Ember Spirit, the hero that's doing work right now in our competitors game, is going to be banned out first, with Visage taking up the ban by Death by Snoo Snoo. So some pretty standard bans so far coming out in the drafting phase. Both very good heroes. Visage, one of those heroes that we talk about a lot as being overall a very powerful support. Took a few nerfs recently, but nothing really to make him not viable. Ember Spirit has just been overpowered throughout his addition to Captain's Mode. Clockwork, though, is going to be taking the second ban out from Team eHug, and yeah, I mean, that's a different one from my past experience, but definitely a solid ban. I mean, this is a strong hero, a lot of global potential, and really catches out heroes that try to split push, kind of like your Tinker or your Nature's Prophet. So we might be seeing that coming out from Team eHug, might not, but we got our picks coming out. Dazzle will round out the ban by Death by Snoo Snoo. And got to check out the status. How you doing, Helium?
I'm almost back.
Almost back.
Not just Dota. All of Steam crashed. So.
All of Steam. Oh, man.
I don't know.
That is unlucky. So no one can actually see what I'm talking about right now. But
no. But you mentioned Clockwork being banned.
Yep.
Still a great offlane hero. We've been seeing IX Mike pick it up a lot when we've been casting Snot +4. So we all know its power and the potential to, like you said, shut down anyone who's trying to split push, get the ganks rolling in the mid game, shut down mid. And as I switch my overlays, now people can finally see what you've been talking about. So Visage, Dazzle, Ember, Clockwork, they're taken out. Nyx Assassin picked up, valued very, very highly in many roles. And then Mirana, Ancient Apparition, coming out here from Death by Snoo Snoo, a team that neither of us have seen, at least not myself.
No, I mean, I don't recognize any of these guys. I mean, Emperor Taeyeon looks like fan of Seyeon. But I mean, I guess it's I know, but that's the only thing I kind of
guessing it's more K-pop fanboys.
I guess,
that is just a guess.
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, that's what Goody's. I mean, it's actually Goody who is fan of Soyeon, so it's just a K-pop star, I believe. I don't know. I'm not too brushed up on like K-pop stars ever since
I don't know K-pop
I visited
at all.
Korea.
Whatever. So, I mean, Nyx Assassin first pickup. You touched upon it briefly, how he's just a master, a jack of all trades, rather. And, yeah, I mean, this is a very nice hero to have, especially versus any real heavy intelligence hero, versus any real squishy hero, I'll go so far as to say. And can get those multi-man impales down and really turn team fights. And Shadow Shaman, speaking of team fight, he's got plenty of lockdown, and those wards, man, they do so much damage.
Yeah, the super wards are really nice as long as you can force the enemy team to fight around them. So maybe landing big impales, Shadow Shaman can stun two people like you just said. Really, the Shackle's the only reliable one if you want to get big serpent ward damage onto a target.
Yep.
And of course you can be stunned out of that because it's channeling. And going back to the Nyx Assassin, Ancient Apparition, he's one of those supports that pretty much casts Chilling Touch, then he runs away from the team because he wants to shoot his J from downtown with the Ice Blast, and that's when Nyx Assassin can just find him in a lane if he's trying to farm an Ags, or if he's trying to shoot Ice Blast, and Nyx Assassin can just feed off of him for a lot of this game, I think.
I mean, yeah, if he stays in a good position, like positioning is key when you're fighting a Nyx Assassin, but if he's able to stay away from any sort of Nyx gank, then he should be rather fine. I mean, of course, you've got the Spike Carapace, which could make a lot of his attempts to really turn fights with the Ice Blast a little difficult, but overall, I mean, Nyx Assassin, he needs to have the view of the Ancient Apparition and the path to kill the Ancient Apparition in order to take him out of the fight. And if AA plays it carefully, he shouldn't have too much to worry about. But, I mean, it could go either way. It's going to be a ban out on the Rubik and the Lycanthrope, though, coming out from Team eHug. And Death by Snoo Snoo, there's the ban I recognize. The Invoker will get removed from this draft.
Yeah, pretty surprising not to see either of those heroes picked or banned in the first phase. Everyone valuing Invoker still very, very highly. He's got a lot of different, versatile skill builds. All the quad specs, I think, a little more favored. And he's really switching it up and the item choices that Invoker normally goes for. Now we're seeing Invokers with Mech, with Necro Books, and then, of course, the usual 4-staff, maybe a Yule's, a Blink. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting, fun to see. Very powerful. EMP is ridiculous. Lycan, of course, gets that Rat Dota going at like 10 minutes, which is way earlier than any other hero I can really think of. Maybe Broodmother would do okay, but Broodmother's just a lot easier to deal with.
Oh god,
Well,
yeah,
she is
Broodmother's
now,
very
anyways,
easy to deal with.
since some of those changes coming through. But I'm just saying, she can get the push going pretty early with all those Spiderlings. They actually do quite a bit of damage. But yeah, they get banned out. Nothing too unexpected there.
I saw somewhere, I don't remember where, but they compared the level 1 bear's damage to one of Broodmother's Spiderling's damage.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
And the Spiderling actually did a lot more, so that was kind of
I don't know if they get the 40% extra damage to towers though, like the Spirit Bear does.
No, definitely not. But if you've got Brood and Lycanthrope on the same team, then it gets ridiculous.
But could be seeing some of that pretty soon.
Yep, popular Bane Mirana combo coming out. I haven't seen that come too often, as a lot of teams have been figuring out how to fight that, which is get counter initiation going and just shut down the Bane and Mirana lane early. Don't let them get ahead. But
pick Abaddon.
And pick Abaddon. Yep, that hasn't been banned out yet. But Doom will be rounding out that draft. And when you've got a couple of heroes that rely on getting their spells out, Doom is going to be interesting to watch. I mean, he's got 3 heroes already on the draft that really get shut down hard by Doom. I mean, if Shadow Shaman gets doomed early, you don't have Serpent Wards in the fight, you don't have Shackle or Hex or that Ether Shock, which does so much damage. If Batrider gets doomed on the jump in, he has no way to get out and will get destroyed promptly. And if the next Assassin gets doomed, he won't have his Invis, his Spike Carapace, any of that to really turn team fights. So, I mean, there are plenty of options for Doom to get the Doom off, but on the other side, if there's so many heroes to Doom, it's going to be hard for him to decide which one to take.
Well, there we go. There's a hero that doesn't rely too much on his abilities. Sure, the Razes can provide a ton of damage early and even turn ganks around if people get a little sloppy trying to kill you in the mid lane. We've seen that happen time and time again. But, I mean, with the Necromastery, he can go for BKB and still have decent damage early, and, you know, that'll allow him to not take damage and just sit there and right-click the Doom, who doesn't have a lot of armor, so Presence of the Dark Lord is going to help out. But Doom's still pretty tanky, and he generally does just build into those armor auras, or he can carry around the Frost Ogre's ice armor, and that's what, +8, so he can get up his armor pretty early on this Doom.
Yeah, Doom literally taking all the damage as his armor continuously gets destroyed, then revamped, then destroyed, then revamped. It's kind of like a bipolar disorder of armor on the Doom. But yeah, at the moment, he does not have the best in the early game, and you're right, Shadow Fiend will end up ripping him to shreds with that Presence of the Dark Lord. But here we go. It's going to be a Viper pickup by Death by Snoo Snoo, running the ever-so-popular Tricore lineup. And Viper versus Shadow Fiend, it might be a little bit difficult for the Demon throwing out the Razes to really get the damage out on the Viper.
Yeah, and there's a huge attack slow that comes off of Viper Strike. So what, they have one right clicker right now really in the Shadow Fiend, at least early on. I mean, I guess Juggernaut, Juggability, if he picks up that crit, you can get some pretty big hits in early as well. But slowing that attack speed, slowing the move speed of the Juggernaut, Viper is very, very good against those melee heroes. And of course, Juggernaut could be getting kited around. Even if he goes into his blade spin, he's still going to be slowed down by Viper's poison attacks.
Yeah, and including Viper's
and
ultimate.
Fiend's Grip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Fiend's Grip is one that we need to talk about.
And Doom. And no healing in Ice Blast or no healing from the ward because of Ice Blast.
Yeah, that's interesting to point out. But yeah, they have a lot of ability to lock down and kite out BKB holders. And I think Ice Blast even hits through BKB and prevents healing even when you've got it on. I might be mistaken about that, but
yeah, I think it maybe applies the debuff. You definitely don't take like the burst damage.
No, definitely not. But yeah, so they got plenty of ability to keep the Juggernaut from being effective. I mean, Omni Slash still does a lot of damage regardless, so we might be seeing Jug go into the full Omni. Yeah, I guess a smoke. So I will stop what I'm saying as all of Death by Snoo Snoo are making their way into the enemy jungle and looking to catch out Pandago.
Yeah, it makes sense. They've got the Bane to initiate. He's got Nightmare skilled up. Pandago. Can they get him in time? Not the fastest hero, that Shadow Shaman, 285 move speed. Bane at 315, so I'm surprised they don't go for the chase. Taeyun still here smoked up. Looking to shoot the blind arrow. Going to catch Pandago in the face. Not the quickest reactions there. Chilling touch to go out. I can only assume, and one attack from everybody should do it, but a beautiful impale here from I'm a Sheep. One more attack. Can they get it? Bane, we talked about, he's a little bit faster. They will back off. They approach the tier 2 tower, and at 12 seconds, you don't really, actually negative 12 seconds, you do not want to be diving tier 2 towers. Of course, they back up.
All right, so before we go ahead and analyze that team fight, we should go ahead and announce the teams right now. So you can go ahead and start on that one.
Yeah, we'll just go with Death by Snoo. So we saw down there that tri-lane, it's going to be composed of a Raffle Stomper. He's going to be playing the Bane. We'll see how he does. Taeyun on the Mirana. So Groovy going to be playing that Ancient Apparition. Over into the mid lane, it's going to be T-Pimp. And then the solo safe Doom, it's going to be Reckoner, looking to find himself an early aura and then try to do his best. Actually, Doom does lane pretty well against Batrider.
All right, so real quick to look on the other side of the river. We got Justin for eHug playing the Shadow Fiend. It's going to be Cakes on the Batrider in the off lane. And in the tri lane, Jiggle Billy on the Juggernaut. I'm a Sheep Sucks playing the Nyx Assassin, and Pandago on the funky little Rasta, the Shadow Shaman.
Fortunate to be alive. One more attack. He could have already given up that first blood before the horn even sounded, as this tri-lane's pretty terrifying. I mean, the Ancient Apparition is squishy, maybe a target they could kill, but Mirana has that escape, and Raffle Stomper, of course, can save anyone with a defensive Nightmare. So it's going to be pretty tough. I think eHug going to have to be mainly passive, but maybe not if they catch out Groovy here. Arrow, they're going to do what they need to do. They cycle off the Nightmare. That's exactly what eHug needs to keep in mind. Do that every time to dodge the arrow, because if someone gets stunned for more than 2 seconds, they're going to die to Chilling Touch.
Yeah, and Chilling Touch, you mentioned, is just doing so much damage. You saw that one odd auto attack coming from Mirana into the Juggernaut. Just did so much damage, even with Mirana having such a low base damage.
Doom up top, taking quite a bit of stacks. I mean, that's inevitable as a melee hero against a Batrider. So Cake's doing what he needs to do there. But you get up your... oh, actually, bot lane, some action. Raffle Stomper is going to be shackled up, so he could be in trouble. This could actually be the first blood the other way around, not the way you would expect it. Taeyun's going to get it first, actually, on the Mirana. Raffle Stomper will live. Looks like a brain tap. No, he's still only level 1. Is going to keep him alive. Taeyun dropping low. Will disjoint the attack, or just get out of range of I'm a Sheep Sucks, the Nyx Assassin. So they get out Death by Snoo, getting out scot-free, and, well, they came to play. I'd say they're a pretty unknown team. I have yet to cast them, and I've cast quite a few teams. And Batrider, kill up top.
Yeah, well, all that happened. Batrider just doing what he does best, and we left that lane Doom having 5 stacks of napalm on him. And now we can see Firefly is off cooldown, so you can kind of extrapolate what exactly happened there. But in that bottom lane, I mean, they didn't exactly get off scot-free, Death by Snoo. They did end up taking so much damage. I mean, we even have to see Mirana had to go all the way back to base Taeyun, getting really low, coming back with a salve. So gen this time, but didn't have it last time, and misses out on a lot of XP because of it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not too much. I think the wave pushed pretty far away from their tower at that point. Maybe gives Rasta a chance. He's up to level 2 right now, checking out the other support levels. Bane just hits over to level 3. Groovy on the Ancient Apparition sitting at level 2. And Mirana herself at level 2. So it looks like the XP, it's pretty even overall. Rasta doing the best out of his teammates.
Yep,
He's been controlling that jungle a little more. Yeah,
Raffle Stop was looking for that Nightmare out on a Jiggle Billy, but couldn't quite get in range. We have an Invis rune actually spawning in the top rune spot. Justin has his bottle up, so he's probably going to be the one going for that. Might even be able to make a go on Reckoner with that rune, as he's already died once and is feeling the pressure from this Batrider. But Batrider is getting a good amount of XP and is actually sitting fairly low right now in terms of HP and mana, so...
Yeah, I think once you get a couple more points in Scorched Earth, the extra move speed, of course, isn't going to help out your slow turn rate, as we can see Reckoner struggling to turn back around, making it very hard to last hit on those melee heroes. But, you know, the extra HP regen and then just the move speed to run away, it's going to make it a little harder for him to get killed by this Batrider. But, I mean, Cakes already did it once. I think it was a bit of a mistake here by Reckoner to let himself get up to 5 stacks. I mean, any more than 3, I think he should be backing off from the wave.
Yeah, just letting the cooldown reset, then go in and get a couple last hits, then back off. It's a sort of pattern that you have to take, but now a Nightmare going on Jiggle Billy. There was not the cancel in time. Jiggle Billy taking a lot of damage to Brain Sap ends up bursting him down enough for Taeyeon to get the kill. Now a great spike carapace, stunning up 2 and avoiding the chase by Taeyeon. Yeah, I'm a Sheep sucks getting out of that one alive, but Jigglebilly not so lucky.
Yeah, it would have been better for the Nyx Assassin to maybe take that arrow, even take it with the Spike Carapace. Does he have that spell? He does. And actually, T-Pimp in the middle lane, this is the first Viper Strike, but he finds himself already at the tier 1 tower, has to back off. Does a lot of damage to Justin, but like you said, Justin, he's already got his bottle. I'm not sure which way that Invis rune went. It was Shadow Fiend who picked it up, so replenished his bottle, plenty of regen, and he's doing what Shadow Fiends do, stacking up the jungle. He can clear these in a matter of seconds, or he can give them to his Batrider, who has gone for Tranquils and a bottle, so more items than a Batrider would normally get at this point. I guess just because that's a 1v1 lane, but if they want, they could just put Batrider, clear those stacks, pick up a very early Tranquils bottle and a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I'm surprised T-Pimp didn't get that kill in the mid lane. I mean, his creeps were at the tower with him, so if he shifted aggro onto the creeps and then continued to dive, he probably was going to be able to get the kill. I mean, Justin was taking so much damage over time from that. Was at about half HP, so if you factor in how much damage that the Nether Toxin is going to do on top of that, it gets pretty scary. I'm a Sheep sucks actually taking a huge arrow hit. Won't survive to get the Spike Carapace off in time. No, he does! Barely getting that that wand off, but it's going to be enough. He turns around, gets the Impale off. Juggernaut finding the Ancient Apparition in the back line. Raffle Stomper trying to run away. The crits coming out, but not enough. Jigglebilly, he's still chasing, actually. And now the Nightmare, no, it's going to be an Enfeeble. And Jigglebilly will then pick up the kill anyway. And Tian actually getting a kill on the backlines, looking for Jigglebilly. Should be able to get it with this auto attack. Does now. Pandago's in a little bit of trouble, is way out of position. It's a double kill already for Taeyeon. Pandago could make it a triple kill. He's juking around the trees right now, Taeyeon. Oh, doesn't see him trying to run away. And Taeyeon, oh man, gets juked to high heaven. Pandago will stay alive. Multi-kill, though, happening somewhere on the... Was that just a really late reaction? What?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they gave it to Mirana, I suppose. I don't know. We'll ignore it.
The game thought
Something
that
happened.
could have gotten Pandago as well.
Something happened. But yeah, I mean, that just shows you can't even kill a Rasa if you don't have many stuns. The Sacred Arrow was a nice attempt there by Taeyeon to land it across the tree line, but the members of eHug were expecting it. They juked it, and then pretty much out of mana, out of anything but right clicks, and somehow some nice jukes there around the tree line. Call it luck, call it skill. Pandago gets back to base. He's actually just getting there now. I think he maybe, yeah, he looks like he stopped to throw another stack in there for his mid player. As Raffle Stomper finds Jigglebilly. That's the Nightmare. Sheep needs to get in range to toggle this off, but he will not be able to. And Ancient Apparition is there. These are all going to be the right click straight on the Jigglebilly. He's still stunned up. A nice Impale there from Sheep to buy some time. It's not going to be enough, though. The extra 60 damage coming out from that Chilling Touch is just too much for that Juggernaut to stand up to. He's got a lot of armor, but all that Chilling Touch damage is going to be magical, so not getting reduced a whole lot.
So we talked about ways that teams have been figuring out how to counter the Mirana in lane, and giving her 4 kills, 1 assist, and she's actually going to hit an arrow through the creeps there. Does plenty of damage. Pandago will get the shackles off. She might actually take a fall here. She's got her leap. If she can use it, she will end up using it. Getting away on 55 HP should be fine because of it. There is no Zeus ult or Invoker Sunstrike to use. Looking for the rune on the bottom rune spot. Will she get it? Nope, it's going to spawn up top, and it's going to be another Invis rune. But
Invis, rune of the game, apparently. Justin, though, Midas player. Picked up that Hand of Midas, continuing to bottle crow with Elgato here, and now he's finally farming up his stacks, so we'll see what else he wants to go for. Probably treads into, I mean, maybe BKB, and I don't know. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. He doesn't really need a blink. Batrider can kind of handle the initiation, I think.
Isn't Justin their new player as well?
Yeah, the one time I saw him play Shadow Fiend, he did exceptionally well on that hero. Not quite as good on some other ones.
Cakes up top. He's going to take a Viper Strike, trying to TP out of this, but the Doom is there, and he's going to take
level death. As I say, he could have just level death. It does have a mini stun that will cancel TPs, but, you know, pretty standard.
Go big
Not going to put
home.
any points in that, so he doesn't have it. Going to be forced to use the Doom to cancel that TP, but it's a kill on Batrider, so first Doom, first kill. I'd say it's pretty worth it, even though it's in that scenario.
Yeah, Dooms typically don't pick up that level death early at all because, I mean, its damage is lackluster unless you get the multiplier bonus, and the amount of mana it costs is just so astronomically high that a Doom can't really afford to because he needs to get multiple spells off just to keep himself farmed and to keep himself alive, so... Definitely not one of those things that you typically see picked up. I mean, a kill's a kill, and it's going to be off cooldown in a minute, so not too much of a loss there. And they end up getting the Batrider as well for it. So eHug is sitting down 3 kills, taking a quick look at the graphs. Death by Snoo actually taking a small advantage in this game in terms of XP. Gold, though, within 500. Actually, both of them within 500. So it's pretty even game so far at 9 minutes.
Yeah, still very, very close. Of course, we've got the Devour, 4 points in that by Reckoner on the Doom. The Midas has shown up on Justin. He now finishes up his treads here. He's done very well in this middle lane. It's extremely hard for Viper to get anywhere close because if Viper shows up, Justin's just been landing those raises. Now we've got 3 points in Corrosive Skin, so there's more. There's what, 20% magic resistance now, and of course going to be taking damage in return for every attack he lands on Viper. But he already, I'd say, won this lane very hard with the safe lane farm, or the mid lane farm, and then stacking up those camps. He's got 73 last hits, 4 denies, compared to the Viper at 53 and 12. Does finish up the mech with just boots of speed, and we'll see. Probably going to go for the phase drums after that, or maybe just phase into an Ags on that Viper. Wow, Doom. Wow, we've missed every kill in this top lane, or I have, rather. Doom going to go down. Cakes gets him one more time.
Yeah, and I guess that could be attributed to a couple more napalm stacks as well. Courier in a lot of trouble. They will end up getting it. Miranda diving for that kill. Now Pandago, the arrow does hit. Pandago gets cleaned up, and now this tower is in a little bit of trouble. Viper, well, actually, no, I thought that was another kill on the map. I am wrong. T-Pip is going to TP up to the mid lane just to defend against this Shadow Fiend. And I'd like to note, you mentioned how he did get the 3 points up in Corrosive Skin. He's actually had it for quite a while. He actually went
this is so bugged.
3 build, yeah. Courier kill, just getting the items out. So people, if you're getting the items, enjoy your filthy heroic items, because I still haven't gotten one yet.
We'll get some. We'll get some tonight, I believe. Nice spin there by Jigglebilly, dodging the arrow, forcing out some mana. Juggernaut, Jigglebilly, also a hero that doesn't have a humongous mana pool, kind of similar to that Doom. Has a lot of great spells, but they do cost a chunk of mana, and you don't have a whole lot to go around. Doom goes phase, he goes into a Ring of Bass, so his item build really not yet determined. Looking at the lineup though, you've got a Viper, you've got a Mirana. He could very well go for utility, but then you've got to end it pretty early because Juggernaut and more so the Shadow Fiend are going to carry pretty hard.
Yeah, no, I mean,
maybe not so much the Juggernaut yet. He's died 3 times and he's got 37 CS, but you know, eventually.
Yeah, this lane was pretty much hard won by the Mirana combo, and Mix with. He's going to go down to Doom, actually, in this top lane. Another kill. Now bottom, Jigglebilly will get the TP out, but Pandago, again, is in a lot of trouble. Taeyeon is caught in the trees, though, and the wards are taking him down. He doesn't have enough mana. He eats through the trees. Luckily enough, he had that ability to, and now he's just going to go ahead and take out the wards from the tree line. They're not attacking him, at least a couple of them are.
I think they can see him, or maybe they're slightly out of range.
Yeah, but he's just getting all the gold from that, and it's a nice infusion of gold.
Up top. They're going to get Reckoner one more time. This time we finally catch the action. So Cakes has killed him 3 times. So nicely done. He's got the Blink Dagger. That was more than likely the first use of it right there, up there in the top lane. And maybe they're going to turn that into a tower kill. It's sitting at half HP. They've got not the biggest creep wave. Bottom lane, the tier 1 has already fallen. They're going to go ahead and use the Moonlight Shadow here, looking to initiate. They're going to walk right past Diamond Sucks, but they don't know this. He's in his Vendetta. He is level 6, almost to level 7, so they'll go and look for Juggernaut. Jigglebilly is very, very low. He did maybe scurry by, I guess it would be this ward further south, so did not catch vision of him, so that Smoke Gank, or the Moonlight Shadow, nothing going to come of it.
Yeah, top lane is sitting really careful right now, and they have to be. There are 3 heroes waiting to go on him. 40 seconds on the Shackle, but the Blink is up and running. All it takes is a Blink into a Flame Break to put someone out of position, and then you've got Justin there to clean up. They end up popping the Firefly. Are they going to go for it? Pandago is ready with the Hex. Now Groovy will take a fall. Immediate TP reactions, but now Justin charging up the Requiem. He ends up stopping it and TPing himself out of there. Cakes, though, will take a fall on the back lines. Taeyeon is going to pick that one up and put it in the bag.
Nice arrow. I mean, Batrider jumps in. He doesn't want to use his lasso on the Shadow Shaman, or excuse me, on the Ancient Apparition, because Shadow Shaman threw out the Hex. Oh, and it was on cooldown just from killing Doom, so that makes more sense. I thought he was trying to be like ultra efficient, and maybe it cost him there, because if that lasso was up, he probably should have just grabbed the pod and Ice Blast. Gonna come in and kill no creep, and that's his team. So not a lot happening there.
I was looking at that
Tier
thinking,
1
oh
tower.
man, that's going to be a huge ice blast.
I mean, it was still a nice ice blast, right? Like, imagine if that was the enemy team.
Well, tower will
Oh,
take
here
a
comes
fall
Ivy Sheep.
regardless.
Sucks, though, with double damage. Going to get a 2-man Impale. Reckoner will be dropping. They use the Sheep on him. Raffle Stomper there to save his team. Throw out the Nightmare if he needed to. Looks like the Mana Boots from... Who else has Mana Boots? Swear to God, I just saw Mana Boots right there.
Well, just look at the item list.
I'm losing my mind. I'm way too tired to be casting Dota right now.
Don't worry about it. If you want to sit back, I'll take it on. And I'm joking, of course.
We got
Oh man,
this. Cakes.
Taeyeon mid-lead barely doesn't get out of it. Cakes, though, will get ice blasted as well as Fiend's Grip. A Requiem of Souls happening through the trees. Justin will pick up a couple kills. No, he won't. It's going to be Nyx Assassin picking up Taeyeon, who buys back, immediately TPs himself back, and misses the arrow, but is there to get the XP from Nyx Assassin. Now Taeyeon wants more, ends up changing her mind. She ends up, or he, I don't know who that is, ends up backing up. It's a female hero, it's a female player icon.
I feel like it's a female K-pop star, but more than likely a male Dota player. But I don't know, that's just me guessing. Bottom lane, Doom goes out here onto Jigglebilly. He cannot spin to win, he cannot TP or use his 10 Magic Wand charges. He can do nothing but die from the Satyr Blast, and Doom rocking the Shockwave for some reason. I guess the Unholy Aura is pretty good for your health regen, especially up against a Bat. Probably one of the better passives to pick up, as Justin will go into Power Treads BKB Midas. So he's farming very, very well. We will switch over to the net worth. Apologies for not being there sooner. 8.4k for eHugs. Justin, their new mid player, fill in the shoes of Ryu Boru's. Viper for Snoo Snoo sitting at 6.9. Then we find Taeyeon here on the Mirana, 5.1. Cakes picking up a lot of kills in that solo off lane, 4.7. Doom not far behind him though, mainly because he's got Devour. He's level 11 at 4.4k, and finally Jigglebilly, I guess the one roll for eHug at just 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, the net worth chart is pretty scary if you're looking at the idea of Shadow Fiend being at the top, but he does have his Midas. BKB has been up, and I mean, we've yet to see it get used, still on the 10-second charge, but Arrow, actually Lasso happens. Raffle Stomper, no Fiend's Grip this time. He ends up getting immediately lassoed, and now the Ice Blast comes out, but will not grab anyone. Meanwhile, Shadow Shaman takes a fall to T-Pimp, and whoa, wait, Bane committed suicide.
Alright, fortunate for him. Groovy, though, not so fortunate. Has no way out. Will go down. Arrow across the river. Going to be off the mark.
Yeah, it's an arrow from the enemy side to
yeah,
your
right?
side.
That was a little strange. I was like, wait a minute. This is backwards.
I'm a Sheep sucks. Might be in a little bit of trouble now if Taeyeon can find her out. And it looks like, yeah, this tower is taking a lot of damage. But the arrow does end up connecting Justin. Now he's going to jump back, Doom up Jigglebilly. Justin has no way to survive this. Will take a fall to the auto attack from Taeyeon. The Ice Blast will come in, misses its mark. But Doom still on Jigglebilly, but didn't want to chase that as Reckoner decides he wants to go in and make sure that Justin dies. Meanwhile, I'm a Sheep sucks staying in way too late. And eHug, 10 and 15 at 17.5 minutes. I mean, they are undefeated in this league so far, but Death by Snoo Snoo really wants to go ahead and be their first, pop their losing cherry.
Yeah, well, eHug's lost games. They have yet to lose an entire series. Let's keep in mind, it is a best of 3, but I'm really impressed here by Death by Snoo Snoo. It's a team with players I've never really heard of, so I kind of dismissed them, thinking, oh, they had sort of an easy schedule, which I think they kind of did. But clearly showing that they're in it to win it here for the, what, $4,000 plus for CEVO-Main Season 4. That is the prize pool as, what, this is week 6. This is a 6-2 match, so there's this match and then 2 more weeks before we get to the postseason. So more details on that soon, but right now we've got a Roshan attempt. They're going to pop the Moonlight Shadows as they try to finish this Roshan. Maybe they're even going to give it up because there's a Fiend's Grip onto Cakes here by the Ancients. Cakes, he will be getting away. Raffle Stomper has a gem. We should point that out. And Blink Dagger up on the Doom, which is actually what got that fight started. Reckoner was able to blink in, get off the Doom on Juggernaut, and then they took the fight from there. And Groovy, he's been off with his Ice Blast, so he needs to start landing those. So Death by Snoo Snoo can start winning these fights even more convincingly. Yeah,
I mean, you just think about the amount of damage they're putting out right now, and you add on the potential for an Ice Blast on top of that, and it's going to be insane. But you're right, Groovy, he's been a little bit late, a little bit lagged with these. He's probably on par with the item reward system right now, so obviously not getting those Ice Blasts off. And Courier, where are you going? Oh, it goes up to T-Pimp. But And Shadow Shaman picks up his arcane boots finally 19 minutes into the game, and at the moment, I mean, things are looking great for eHug. They still have wards up to try to take quick towers without any contest, but there is plenty of auto attack damage from Death by Snoo Snoo to clean up the wards if they go down, and now they're going to pop them and abandon this tier 2, which means Mirana has plenty of space to go ahead and farm these up. I'm kind of interested. Actually, the tier 2 tower is just going to clean them up in one hit each, so Mirana not getting as much farm from that as she wants, but Taeyeon will take a couple bits of gold to the bank and really enjoying that amount of gold. Reckoner, he's been sort of food for the most part of the game. 3 and 4 right now, though. He's gotten a great doom off on the Juggernaut in the last match and the last fight, as you pointed out, blinking past Justin, rightfully so. And I mean, really rendering that fight useless for eHug, as they didn't really have any way to turn the fight around. No Omni Slash, no Blade Fury, and no big damage right clicker aside from the Shadow Fiend, who was completely locked down.
Yeah, they did a good job there. Well, he did take an arrow to the face, so that's just Taeyeon playing very, very well. He's threaded the needle with that arrow, landed it onto the Shadow Demon.
So would you say he was the auto
Shadow
attacker?
Demon, Shadow Fiend. There's way too many shadowy people in this match right now. Shadow Shaman, Shadow Fiend, Shadow Demon is not present.
He was the auto attacker until he took an arrow to the knee. A smoke up.
Yes, he was.
I waited patiently to make that joke.
That's an old game now. Elder Scrolls Online. We got to find some references from that.
Well, we have to wait a little bit for those to come out. A 5-man smoke up though, and yeah, right now eHug are playing really carefully, and that's working out as the smoke does not seem to catch anyone out, and now they're in prime position to try to make a initiation. Arrow flies up, Jigglebilly sees it, and Blade Furies, it was off the mark anyway, but it does put that on cooldown for the time being. It also reduces his mana up a little bit, so a small victory there, but Taeyeon is going to go to work on this tower. The rest of Death by Snoo Snoo at her side, and eHug are waiting to initiate. They got plenty to go in. And it's going to be a Viper Strike happening on to Justin. Is that an Aghanim Scepter range? It is.
Yeah,
now the Omni Slash coming in. It goes to Groovy, who takes 3 hits, drops low, but doesn't end up falling. T-Pimp caught in the wars. The Ice Blast does come out. This time it connects, and T-Pimp will pick up a Mega Skill Spree on the top of that. Cakes taking a lot of damage, but will end up turning around. Flame Break onto Taeyeon. Will net the kill. It's 1 for 3 right now, though, as eHug losing Jigglebilly, losing I'm a Sheep Sucks, and losing Pandago.
Yeah, it looks like Groovy landed the Ice Blast on a couple more people, had the Vortex down there as well. He's got 3 points in the Vortex, actually, as opposed to just maybe more points in Cold Feet. And, I mean, we can look at his team. There's a ton of magic damage coming out between himself. The Viper, of course. Bane, I think, is what, HP removal, or is it just pure damage? Nightmare's HP removal, but, yeah, pure damage, so that's not going to be too affected. And I guess Doom, he's got the Shockwave up, the Unholy, or what is that, Scorched Earth magic damage. So I think the Ice Vortex build makes sense. Cakes had a nice lasso, but it wasn't even enough. I think he lassoed up Reckoner, who was just so tanky. He's only got 7 armor right now, but he's got 1600 HP, even with that Blink Dagger, and they just couldn't bring him down.
Well,
I think the only one they got was the Mirana.
Yeah, for a Doom, even 7 armor is a lot, and they only got Mirana mostly because she just stood in the trail of the Bat Rider for way too long, ended up taking way too much damage from that, and then the Flame Break did clean her up, so a little bit of misplay, but at the same time it was a very hectic fight, and overall Death by Snoo Snoo does come out on top, but they aren't really pushing too much of an advantage. The tower score, they're only ahead by 1 tower, no attempts up onto the tier 4s yet, and all in all,
Tier 4s?
Tier 3s.
Jumping the gun there.
Yeah. Well, if you go up to the high ground, I guess you're still making an attempt on Tier 3. I don't know. But yeah, I'm Tier 4. What? Tier 3.
No, you got it backwards again.
Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier -30.
Yeah, whatever. Towers, they're important.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
just give each
basically,
tower
Courier is going to get picked off there immediately. I catch it with blind luck there. But what the point you're making is it's going to be hard to break high ground versus team with the Serpent Wards, the ability for Bat Rider to pick anybody off, and you're going to not be able to see Jigglebilly. So far, they've been really good at getting the Doom off onto Jigglebilly or Justin. If that maybe doesn't happen, it's going to be hard for Snoo Snoo to still win these fights. That being said, the mech, they still have an Aegis. I don't think they're going to be able to use. The Aghanim Scepter up on T-Pimp is very, very nice. He's got 3,400 gold. I don't know what he's going to go for. Maybe an AC just to make this pushing a little bit easier. It's not the most common item we've seen on Viper, but when you're in this sort of a farming role and doing this well, why not? Doom has gone for initiation, and he's going for an Ags, if that point booster is any indication. I doubt it's just a casual point booster. Other items. Yasha here for the Mirana. I think because of this this initiation slash utility build from Reckoner, Mirana needs more damage. So she goes for that Yasha. Could be a BKB next. Maybe she finishes up the Manta, but Manta, the active, it's not really getting you out of anything this game. I mean, you're pretty much just going to be stun locked. I think it gets napalm off, but if you get it put on again, then your stacks are back, or at least you've got one stack of napalm, so...
I mean, the one thing it does help with is it will really confuse the Batrider. If he jumps in and then you Manta style, he has to make a quick decision on which one to go ahead and pull. So that could be one reason he's getting it. Another reason could be that it does give good stats. I mean, the Ultimate Orb on top of the Yasha ends up giving a lot. But I mean, Mirana, she has died in the past 2 fights. The last death she had was solo to a 3-man gank on her. So I mean, she's not looking as far ahead as she has been, but at the same time, she still has this brick wall of a team just pushing ahead for her. The artillery is just creeping forward, and this could be a tier 2 trade for tier 2, and actually they might get 2 tier 2s as Cakes and Justin are moving in on the mid, and Jigglebilly is going to work on the top.
Yeah, so this isn't really a great trade for Snoo Snoo since they're the ones ahead right now, so eHug getting the better of that for sure. They are going to pick up that top tier 2 tower. The middle one has been defended, going to force out. Doom TP'd a little bit earlier, now 2 more TPs coming in. Groovy, I think, was just around Invis Rune. Another one going to spawn bottom. I think Raffle Stomper will pick up that one in the next team fight. It could very well be here in the top lane. eHug, though, maybe just going to decide to back off, go back to static farming.
Look at this ward vision from Death by Snoo Snoo.
Yeah, very aggressive. I mean,
they've got
they want to land that Ice Blast.
Yeah, it's a pretty great vision coming out from them, which, as you said, is amazing for Ice Blast, but is also great for getting off those ganks and keeping track of eHug's movement. So when you're playing ahead, I mean, this is definitely a great practice to have. But of course, they are losing a bit of map control in the form of towers. Actually, they're tier 2 bottom. I didn't see that before. That is still up. Tier 1 bottom.
You cannot count to 4 tonight.
I can count to 4. I just am doing it in the wrong order. I'm going like 3, 1, 2, 4.
I don't know if that counts as counting to 4.
That counts as counting to 4, dude. But it's not in the right order.
Maybe. Yeah, you mentioned just the strong warding, able to keep that map control is something great to do in your head. Also, what they did very, very early on, they picked up a gem on this Bane who has yet to die since he got it. And if we look at the map, there are 0 wards out right now for eHug, assuming some of them to have been dewarded. Actually, Pandago, we've seen with 2. Doom goes out onto Justin, so they're going to pick off here on Justin. Ice Blast coming through. It's actually going to land on the Rasta. And they are Jigglebilly. He's in the Fiend's grip. Actually, Pub Stomper able to live a little bit longer. The Serpent Wards finally take him down. Jigglebilly able to scurry on away. Blinken here by I'm a Sheep Sucks. Will stun up 1. Just teep him, taking that damage. Now he's going to be slowed. Pops the Vendetta defensively. The Doom, though, he's picked up the gem that Bane did deposit to him. So Reckoner and everybody on the chase. There's an Impale just on 1. Not what I'm a Sheep needed. Really no way out of that one. He will go down. 1-3 trade. And Death by Snoo Snoo looking very, very strong. Now they have their first go at the high ground.
Yeah, Viper is dealing some insane damage right now. Has the Eagle Song right now. And yeah, that's an amazing amount of damage. He gets Flame Break, but shrugs it off right now. He does have a lot of good resistance coming out. And it makes Cakes have to deal with a little bit of Corrosive Skin, which slows him up, disables that Blink Dagger. And now with a... they're actually going to use the Fortify on the tier 3 tower mid lane.
Yes, gets it.
And they will get the defense. So, again, DBSS, Death by Snoo Snoo, having a lot of trouble pushing up the high ground. And this could be an issue for them. We do see a smoke, though, happening. eHug smoking up 3, and their direction could be towards Roshan. But it looks like Death by Snoo Snoo already have that in mind. They are going to scout it out. They don't actually go for it just yet. But here comes eHug. And they're making their way fast towards it, but no one from Death by Snoo Snoo is there. At least not yet.
Yeah, they're playing very, very well. They got just as much damage as they possibly could while staying safe onto that middle tier 3 tower. Then they backed off. No one has gone for any sort of pushing items like a Desolator or an AC or even a Vlad's for some more armor. They have the mech on Viper, so that's a little bit of armor. which makes pushing slightly easier, but you're not really doing more damage to the tower because of your mech. So you want that AC or a Desolator. So far we've got a Mantis Tile, a Butterfly coming out, a couple Aghanim Scepters, so not doing as much to the towers, but they're playing safe. They don't even decide. A lot of teams right there would have been like, alright, we did the tower, let's go do Roche, and then eHug, obviously willing to capitalize on that. They smoke, they make their way toward the pit, but DBSS isn't there. Now they've smoked up, looking to get the jump here on eHug. Pandago Fiend Script immediately, not really who you want to use that on. He will get a Serpent Wards off. I think he's going to die relatively soon. An ultimate from the Juggernaut onto the Doom. He goes down immediately. Now T-Pimp into the fray. Justin wailing away. eHug turning this one around nicely. They get the jump, but they did use the Fiend Script on the Rasta. Better suited for the Juggernaut or for the Shadow Fiend. And that just shows you if DBSS does not get that initiation, the Doom onto either the Jug or the Shadow Fiend, then they're in for a world of pain.
Yeah, that was so much damage. You can't discount the fact, though, that Justin in the trees did get off the Requiem. It wasn't a direct hit on anyone, but it did plenty of damage, and that slow as well as auto-attack damage reduction is absolutely amazing in fights like that. The Viper was hitting like a pea shooter. Now, Justin going to work on this tower. They do have good push, regardless, or instead of DBSS. Now, if Lasso actually catches Taeyon, and he's going to fall there, and this tower is guaranteed to go down. Gem of True Sight actually hits the deck because of that. AA is going to make his way towards it, but I'm a Sheep Sucks ultimately will get there first and will grab the gem. So all these fancy wards now are going to get immediately dewarded by I'm a Sheep Sucks.
Well, they all ran out anyways. So.
Oh, hey, there are no wards.
Saves I'm a Sheep Sucks the trouble. Just 2 words up for eHug at the moment. We've been talking a lot about the Doom, the Mirana, and the Viper as of late, because they were the team that had the momentum. They were getting things done and picking up items in quick succession. But let's look at Justin. He's progressed. He's still the highest net worth in the game, 18.2k. He's finished up his Butterfly. He's got a Helm of Dominator, so his durability and his sustainability in those team fights, it is alive. I think we saw some evidence of that in that last one. Like you said, he was staying in the trees because that is where it is safe. That is how you win games. And he gets quite a few kills. 3.1k gold on top of that. So he can go ahead and finish up that Satanic if he wants. Maybe he goes for a Daedalus. Oh, we will see.
Yeah, definitely. So, right now, I mean, it's hard to tell who's going to win this game. And I was thinking 5 minutes ago that, oh, Death by Snoo Stew are looking really good, but their inability to really push onto the high ground has made me think twice. And in that last fight, it just made things go so wrong for them so fast. And now Cakes, he was smoked up, got past all the runes, and he's going to get some flying vision out onto the entirety of Death by Snoo Snoo, looking for that lasso. Still has vision, but won't go for it. Instead, eHug is just going to go straight onto Roshan, falling fast, really fast rather, and he's going to go down in no time at all. And eHug are starting to look really, really good.
Yeah, that team fight there in the jungle. I was just praising Death by Snoo Stew for being so passive and playing it right, I think, getting that damage onto the Tier 3 tower, then opting not to do the Roche. eHug, of course, was on their way. I thought it was going to be the game-winning team fight for Death by Snoo Stew when they first turned it around, but then they used the Fiends and things went south quickly, and then since then eHug has taken 2 towers, I believe. They've taken the Roshan. Aegis up on the Shadow Fiend, who is terrifying right now. Very close to finishing up the entire Satanic.
He has it done.
Yeah, it's no way. It's done? Did he just spend his gold?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's done. It's on the courier, ready to go.
So he's sitting pretty. Yeah, that's going to be very hard to deal with right now. Of course, they still have the Doom, and if you get the Doom off, now you've got to focus that Shadow Fiend so he cannot use the Satanic, which means you're going to be dealing with an Aghanim Scepter, rank 3 ultimate here, the Omni Slash from Jigglebilly, which is also going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Mirana at 1400 HP, Bane at 1000, actually Ancient Apparition at 1100. He's halfway to his Ags. The team fight, though, breaking out in the middle. There's the Doom onto Justin, exactly what they needed. Cakes gets the lasso up onto Reckoner. Justin, though, they're trying to bring him down, but he's got an Aegis, so, I mean, he's going to spawn up. Death by Snoo Stew now going to need to be on full retreat, but they can't. eHug this Pandago with a very nice Serpent Ward trap. Now the Shackle onto Taeyon, so Pandago putting that disable to use, and then Jigglebilly and Justin are just going to clean it up. Justin with a triple kill. Now T-Pimp in some treble. Cakes will drop. T-Pimp receives a double kill, but it's an Ultra for Justin. He's about to go for the Rampage. Groovy the last one. They got to give it to him, but they don't. Jugabilly going to go for the killing spree instead of letting Justin pick up that rampage. The TPs, the buybacks, 4 buybacks come in. Ultimate off from Justin onto T-Pimp. Didn't do a whole lot. They probably could still chase him down. Now they got to kill Raffle Stomper. I think Jugabilly should be able to take care of him, but no, Reckoner jumps in, has his say. Ice Blast coming will land onto Justin. They will be able to bring him down. That's going to disable the Satanic Heal, and well, after the end of the day, I mean, it's a fairly even team fight, and now I'm really wishing I had those awesome stats from BTS, because it could be very useful at this moment.
Yeah, that was one of those team fights where you take a look at it and you can't really see what the hell happened on the surface, but that was a full wipe on the side of Death by Snoo Snoo, and then Death by Snoo Snoo buy back 3, and then only take 3 in return is what I saw. I don't think... If I'm a Sheep Sucks and Pandago actually died in that, then it would be a it would essentially be a 5 for 8. But right now, I think it's a 3 for 8.
Yeah, that was
a 3
definitely
for 5.
favoring eHug. They also took out towers as well.
Yeah,
and there were 4 buybacks on the side of Death by Snoo Snoo. So that's a lot of gold. Oh, only 3? Well, still 3. Yep. That's a lot of money invested just to buy back. No item progression there, and that's going to keep them further away from those items we talked about, like the AC that I think Doom really needs to pick up to push into these towers. But he's going Ag's Refresher build, which, you know, it's maybe the trolley build, but I think it's the right call here because the Dooms on the Juggernaut and the Shadow Fiend are just so important.
Yeah, but he's got to get them off first, and they need initiations, kind of like the one they just had. I think he needs to get the Doom off on the Juggernaut first, though. I mean, the Omni Slash just does so much damage, but again, we have to see if he can actually get the refreshers beforehand, because right now Shadow Fiend does need a Doom, and it's kind of hard, as we mentioned in the drafting phase, for Reckoner to really decide who he needs to get that Doom on.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend will still be doing okay damage even when he's doomed, but it's just the fact that you're disabling, I believe you're disabling the evasion from the butterfly, and you obviously cannot use the Satanic to pop that active and heal yourself up. And Ice Blast is going to disable that anyway, so as long as Groovy lands the Ice Blast on Shadow Fiend, I think they can deal with him. Yeah, I mean, Ice Blast on one, Doom on the other, pretty much, either way. Going to really help Death by Snoo Snoo to still win these fights, as it looks like everyone has lost their outer tower. So eHug, Death by Snoo Snoo, losing some map control on that, but the warding currently only wards out for Death by Snoo Snoo. Pretty standard spots. Watching the Ancient Stacker farming, and of course keeping a watchful eye over the runes.
Yep, and we mentioned how Doom, if he can get those Dooms off in the fight, even one off, if he can stay alive in the fight, then it's not going to go away. You're going to be permanently doomed unless you run away. So Ag's Doom, very nice to have. He probably won't be getting his refresher, though, at least for another, I want to say 8 to 10 minutes, as he needs to buy his Oblivion Staff.
He needs about another 1,900.
Yeah, and then 1,800 more gold, so... Actually, the initiation should be coming out. Sheep Sucks scouting things out. They're going to go ahead on Reckoner, but he's not taking enough damage just yet. Now a Moonlight Shower to fall, but Reckoner will actually go down. Now he's got a 70, 80-second comeback time, as he did buy back. Now Groovy, because they have the gem, they see him, he ends up going down. And Jigglebilly might be a collateral for this. No, he's not, as Taeyeon needs to leap himself out. Raffle Stomper will end up falling. A Viper Strike to fly onto Justin, but it will be akin to trying to dry up the ocean by dropping a towel in it. It's just not effective.
Yeah, Death by Snoo Snoo. They're going to lose 3. Only Nyx Assassin gives up his life. He's actually got an ultimate orb right now, just building up those stats. Probably working towards a Lincoln's. Definitely working towards a Lincoln's, because what else are you going to do when you're going against Doom? If he's able to put a Lincoln's charge up onto Justin or Jigglebilly, and then the Doom is wasted, I mean, essentially it's game over. Looking at the buybacks, we know there's not going to be very many. A couple of them were just used. Doom doesn't have it. Bane does not have it. Ancient Apparition does not have it. So the tier 3 tower will fall. The racks now being dealt with also very, very quickly. The Manta popped off here by Taeyeon just to go in and try to clear out these Serpent Wards. But it's too late. The middle racks has been lost. Now eHug still trailing by 1 kill, but they're up 1 racks, and that's 1 step closer to killing that Ancient, which of course is always the goal here in Dota.
Nah, really? Defense of the
It's
Ancients?
get more kills and dive tier 3s, definitely.
Well, or in DBSS's case, get more kills and then just kind of get initiated on.
Yeah, it's something they were lacking in that they made up for with the Blink Dagger here on the Doom, and it worked out really well, but eHug started playing more as a team and getting things in shape. And just Justin, like I said, the one time I saw him play Shadow Fiend, he did extremely well, and he's following suit here the second time I've seen him pick it up. 25.2k net worth, Monkey King Bar, Black King Bar, all the King Bars, Butterfly, Satanic, Hand of Midas from the early game, and of course the Power Tread. So pretty much 5 slot at this point, can drop that Midas and pick up maybe one more thing. Probably going to be a Daedalus if it comes to that.
If it comes to that, the game needs to last that long. And right now, DBSS, they've got carries, but nothing compared to what Jiggle Billy and Justin have packing in their hero. I mean, Mirana does good amounts of damage with farm, but I mean, it's so lackluster when you compare it to that of the Shadow Fiend. And even with a double Doom out, which probably won't be coming out, but let's humor that for a second. A double Doom will only do so much as to stop the skills from Shadow Fiend and Juggernaut, but not the raw damage output that both of these heroes are putting out. So, and already, I mean, Justin, 2,300 HP with 22 armor and 35% evasion. I mean, his effective HP is probably up close to 8,000 or 9,000, and that's pretty scary. I mean, it could even be 10,000, but either way, I mean,
What math? It's too hard.
You're putting that up against the Viper, who does decent damage, but starting off a team fight with that damage isn't great. You need to really go for the long team fights to become effective. You've got the Doom, who isn't really putting out a lot of damage, only through his ultimate, and the Mirana, who's so squishy that she's probably not going to be able to stay alive for enough time to get her good amounts of damage out. So things are looking pretty scary right now for Death by Snoo Snoo. Ice Blast will fly in and land on Jiggle Billy, but there just isn't the movement speed to catch up to him, and they're just going to let him go.
Yeah, he's also picked up an MKB here on the Juggernaut, of course, to go through the Butterfly that Viper has picked up. Looking at the Bat Rider, he's picked up a Lincoln Sphere, so that's one step closer to stopping that double Doom, or I guess the single Doom still for now. Reckoner is getting a bit closer to that Refresher Orb, but it's still not quite there. And Roshan, it has respawned, the third Rosh. It is carrying that cheese. Death by Snoo Snoo, they're in the Dire. They've got that advantage for it. Their lanes are actually pretty pushed out. Middle lane isn't super pushed out, but it's not in the base yet. So they're going to go for the Rosh. It looks like eHug is playing passive up top, maybe expecting a Smoke Initiation or Moonlight Shadow. We've seen it a couple times in the past, but it's not going to come because Roshan is dying.
Yep, and this time it's going to be Death by Snoo Snoo picking up the Roche. So making plays, they know that they're behind. They know they need to do something fast, and they're just going to go ahead and grab Roche now. A Cheese on the Mirana, and Aegis on Viper. And I'm not sure if that's what you need to turn the team fight, but it's certainly a start.
Viper picks up his Manta, so more bodies to block the shots from that Aghanim's Omni Slash, more choices for Cake to potentially mess up his Lasso, although I don't think that's going to be too likely. And lots of gems. We've got a gem on Cakes, we've got a gem on Pandago looking at the other side of things. No gems here from DBSS because I think the two they bought are actually handed over. Yeah, Raffle Stoppers handed over 1,800 gold in the forms of True Sight to eHug right now, so they're slowly losing their map control. About to get dewarded down here, even though it's going to run out still. Oh no, the sentry's about to run out. The ward, though, was pretty fresh. No, reverse that. I don't know. Hard to tell with all these new wards, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I think if the ward we had planned were out, then it would be clear as day, but...
It would be clear as day.
I don't know.
We're bitter about that.
No direction, man. I can't understand it. Either way, right now, DBSS, they're just trying to push out their lane. They're trying to maintain their hold in the game. Things are looking scary in terms of golden XP, but it's still within that kind of death ball 20,000 range, which, I mean, is it like the best thing that you want to hear? Like, if someone comes up to you and says your game is still within 20,000, you're going to feel pretty bad about it, but they're not out of it just yet. There still is the potential for them to have that one team fight where they can just death ball push down the mid lane, go ahead and grab a Rax and maybe try to even out the score a bit. But as it stands right now, I mean, with a DC we can talk about, eHug, they're feeling pretty fresh on their snowball. Yeah,
they're actually all here in the bottom lane as we're taking a look at them. Bat Rider flying over in the trees. That's Cakes looking to get a pick off on the side as Bat Riders normally do. And it looks like it's the Mirana who has disconnected. She's got an MKB, the Manta of her own, so she's hitting pretty hard now. Not really hitting towers as hard, but that's pretty good damage, so they'll be able to take towers down quickly if they find them. But, you know, they've already lost that Rax. It's going to be pretty hard, and God, Ancient Apparition has been working towards this mechanism, or not the mechanism, excuse me, the Aghanims forever, and he's still not been able to get it. It shows you how fast this game turned over on them. I guess a little unfortunate. I thought they played very well throughout the whole thing. eHug, though, they really capitalized. That fight in the bottom, the Radiant Jungle, is really the turning point in this game. If we look back at the graphs, I'm sure we can find it. It's right there at about, what, 25, 26 minutes when that went down?
Yeah, that giant increase in golden XP. Like, DBSS, they didn't exactly have this game. We can take a look at the golden XP. It was really close. But, again, at that point, all it takes is one team wipe, and then all of a sudden you've got one team that's skyrocketed, and then you got another that just feels like they can't do anything, even though 5 minutes ago they were controlling team fights. So, I mean, it's a fickle game, Dota 2, but at the same time, I mean, it makes things so interesting to see how powers can shift and the game can throw.
Yeah, well, we've got the Lincolns we talked about on the Bat Rider, because now it is official. The Refresher Orb, the Watermelon, is out on Doom, so he's got 2 Dooms available with that Ags, and with the Ags changes in case anyone is somehow unaware of them. If you're in, what, I think a 900 units, 900 units from Doom, then Aghanims will allow that Doom to not count down. It will thus last forever. So, it's pretty good. If he can get that jump in with his Blink Dagger, he is his team's force of initiation. He's been holding on to the War Stomp, so if he can stomp, get off a Doom, refresh, maybe get off another one. Does he have the mana for it? He's level 18. I'm going to go ahead and say he's pretty good on the mana. There's also mana boots up on the Ancient Apparition.
He's got to remember, I mean, the one thing that's going to make the difference, though, is if he can get that Doom off on the Juggernaut first, and then refresh and get it off on the Shadow Fiend, because if he hits the Shadow Fiend, and then the Jug has time to react and drop that, drop the Omni Slash, then Reckoner is most certainly dead. Also, Reckoner has to do it fast enough for the Bat Rider not to be able to react, because, again, the Bat Rider comes in, gets the lasso off, and he's going to end up dying, Reckoner, before he can get that second one off. So he's got to be really careful with these initiations and really quick on the fingers.
Look at how Sheep sucks in the top lane. So patient, just waiting for somebody to maybe show up and farm, or just trying to stay off the map himself. As we did just see Death by Snoo. They were Moonlight Shadows into the Radiant Jungle, enemy territory, looking for those pickoffs. They did find Cakes. He was able to scurry away. As I can't click on anything. My camera control slacking tonight here in game number 1, but it's alright. It's been an exciting match, 46 minutes. It slowed down a little bit more recently just because at this point of the game, any team fight could be the last. Look at the buybacks. 3 heroes without buybacks on the side of Death by Snoo. Only the Rasta, that's Pandaga, without a buyback for eHug. So DBSS going to have to win more than one team fight right here if they wanted to end it. But there's Bat Rider with the initiation. He will grab So Groovy, and that's going to mean no Ice Blast. Maybe he gets one off here, but no, sheeped up immediately by Pandago. Nicely done. One Doom goes off onto the Juggernaut. That will force him back, but now Justin coming into the fray. He will get another Doom off, but he's going to die immediately. He just gets brought down. Meanwhile, T-Pimp did manage to find himself a support, but they've already lost their Doom. They're about to lose T-Pimp, and I mean, no buyback on the Doom right now, none on the Mirana. This very well could be the beginning of the end here, as T-Pimp is going to go ahead and respawn, but will be brought down rather quickly here. Justin is just going to town, pops up his Satanic finally, back to basically full health, and this should be eHug just marching down the mid lane.
Yeah, that was, I mean, Doom, he went in, got his Dooms off, but that was way out of position. Like, they were all the way up by their tier 4s when he dropped the Doom on them. They couldn't do anything to follow it up, and Ancient Apparition was already dead. His team was way behind him. It was so... they weren't able to do anything about it. I guess this is the bottom line for that fight. And now they're pushing immediately up to the top lane. Cake's gonna get the lasso. Look at the damage coming out from Justin. Just cleaning up that Bane. Now the Ice Blast will fly, but I mean, it doesn't hit all that much. He will tick down to about 3/4 HP, but I mean, that's no problem for him, as he'll just regen it right back up, especially with the healing ward. And now the second racks will fall. And things are looking very dire for the Dire.
Yeah, I think Snooze was just feeling a little pressure. They're like, we probably don't have this late. I mean, Shadow Fiend is a force to reckon with right now. Gigabilly as well is so strong, and I mean, neither team even has an AC yet, so there was a potential for one of them to get really, really strong, as AC is a fantastic offensive and defensive item, just reducing that armor to the enemy team, and of course buffing your own team's armor. Would allow that Shadow Fiend to do even more damage. Snooze 2, again, they feel pressure. They try to break the high ground. Doom jumps in, overextends too much. They die. They have no buybacks. Now we just see eHug just taking care of them. Breaking that high ground with ease. Going to go ahead and drop the Viper by the Serpent Wards, and only the 2 supports live. GG, going to be called here in game number 1 at about 49 minutes.
Yeah, GG indeed. That game was complete back and forth. I mean, it was very even up until that one absolutely deciding team fight in the Radiant Jungle, and Death by Snoo really could not compose themselves after that one, as they just gave away way too much.
Yeah, but they played a fantastic game. It's the first time I've ever cast them or got to see them even play, which it was fantastic. I didn't expect this close of a game. They really came out. They really performed here in game number 1. It's a best of 3, of course, here in week 6 of CEVO-Main Season 4. We'll be back in a moment with game number 2, but before we go, if you're watching in-game, big shout out to you for buying that ticket. I believe it's $2.99 in the store, and if you are watching in-game, make sure to check out the stream, twitch.tv/playcevo1. Item drops are enabled there, so you can get all your goodies from that. And of course, I'm Helium, and with me is Chicago Ted.
Yep, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you all for game 2.